So this is where jazz is really interesting, because it comes from, you know, the whole dynamic of master slave and slaves wanting to empower themselves with their own culture. And yet now people are practicing and enjoying jazz without knowing that history. And so the stranger gets erased, even though you take the influences of the stranger and the important messages of the stranger. And that's the fundamental concept underlying Stranger Fruit.
I think that a lot of us are what I call tonal people, right? We have a kind of tempo that we move in, and we are in a kind of tone that matches our contemplations and our moods and our culture, right? So that when we hear those kinds of sounds and those kind of combinations, it immediately brings us to a space that we long for.
But there's a lot of tools of improvisation that in this pandemic, and also the tools of the artists, actually, that if we can open up these spaces and allow people to realize. So for example, listening is really important to make improvisation happen. And that's one of the things that the pandemic has opened up as well. You know, how do we listen to each other? How do we listen to new sounds?
You know, somebody comes along, something comes along, and all of a sudden a new space opens up. And
brilliant.
It is good. The universe breathes when that happens.
Yeah, and how important is that? Well, at any time, but you know, certainly coming out of the pandemic and creating a space where we narrate a better future for ourselves. So there we have it, from dub royalty, Lillian Allen. Join Stranger Fruit.
Stranger Fruit.